When Margaret turned 68, she thought she had it all figured out. After years of working in the same city library, she finally retired. Her small apartment was quiet, filled with the scent of old books and sunlight streaming through lace curtains. She had her routine: morning tea by the window, a little walk to the park, evening calls with her daughter, Denise. It wasn't perfect, but it was peaceful. And for the first time in her life, everything she did was on her own time. But then, one day, Denise called and said, "Mom, why don't you come live with us? It'll be easier. You shouldn't be alone." It sounded sweet, thoughtful, and caring, the kind of offer any mother would dream of. So Margaret said yes. Within 2 weeks, she packed up her apartment, the place she had built with memories, plants, and silence that didn't bother her anymore. She gave away her old books, wrapped her teacups in paper, and whispered goodbye to the view she had known for 20 years. It felt bittersweet, but also comforting. She thought this would be her new beginning, a home full of family laughter, help when she needed it, and company she had missed. But she didn't know that moving in with family, especially as a senior, can sometimes mean losing more than just your space. At first, everything seemed fine. Denise and her husband had a lovely house in the suburbs. Their teenage kids were polite and busy, and the guest room was cozy. Margaret helped around the house, cooked breakfast sometimes, and even picked up her grandson from school when Denise was running late. She felt useful again, part of a family rhythm. But slowly, things began to shift. The rhythm wasn't hers anymore. Breakfast wasn't at 8 o'clock like she liked it. The kids rushed through at 6:30. The TV was loud in the evenings, and her quiet reading hour vanished under the sound of video games. And when she offered to help with dinner, her daughter would smile and say, "It's okay, Mom. Just relax." That word, relax, started to sting. Because relaxing wasn't what she wanted. She wanted to feel needed, seen, involved. But now she was becoming the polite guest who didn't know where the sugar was kept. And for the first time, she started to wonder if maybe living alone had given her something she hadn't appreciated: freedom. Many seniors face this same situation. They move in with family to feel safe, connected, and cared for. But sometimes, they end up feeling smaller in their own story. Margaret began to notice that she hesitated before doing simple things. She used to sing softly while washing dishes. Now she stopped mid-verse when her grandson walked in. She used to nap whenever she felt tired. Now she waited until everyone left the house so she wouldn't seem lazy. It wasn't anyone's fault. Her family loved her deeply. But love doesn't always understand independence. And as the weeks turned into months, Margaret's confidence started to fade. Her world was shrinking, one polite smile at a time. If you've ever felt this, that strange discomfort of being loved but not free, you're not alone. So many older adults discover that moving in with family, while safe, can quietly erode the things that make you feel alive. Your habits, your privacy, your sense of usefulness, they all shift without warning. And the hardest part? It's difficult to talk about. Because how do you tell your daughter, your son, your grandkids, "I love you, but I miss myself"? Margaret realized this one rainy afternoon when she was sitting by the living room window. Her daughter had rushed off to work, the kids were at school, and the house was silent. But it wasn't her silence anymore. She looked around and realized something chilling. She had no corner that felt like her own. Every inch of the house belonged to someone else's life. Her books were in boxes in the garage. Her teapot was packed away to save space. Even the plants she had brought from her apartment were now on the back porch, forgotten. That's when she finally whispered to herself, maybe being alone wasn't the problem. Maybe losing myself was. If you're watching this right now and you're considering moving in with family after retirement, stop and think. Ask yourself, will I have my own space? Will I still feel independent? Will I still have my routine, my privacy, my voice? Because sometimes, comfort can come with quiet costs. And while it's beautiful to be surrounded by loved ones, it's even more beautiful to still recognize yourself in the mirror. Your choices, your rhythm, your peace. A few months after moving in, Margaret began to feel invisible in her daughter's house. It wasn't anyone's fault. Denise and her husband had their own world. Work calls, soccer practice, dinner rushes, bills. Life moved fast, and Margaret's quiet rhythm didn't fit the pace. One morning, she stood in the kitchen, holding her favorite mug. The one she'd had for decades, chipped at the rim but still perfect in her eyes. Denise walked in and said gently, "Mom, could we use different mugs for guests? That one's kind of old." That sentence, harmless to anyone else, felt like a small heartbreak, because that old mug had survived decades of stories. It was the one Margaret held when she cried after her husband's funeral. The one she held when her first grandchild was born. The one that had seen all her lonely mornings and hopeful evenings. And now, it was too old. That's when she realized she wasn't living with her family anymore. She was living around them. Many seniors don't talk about this part. The quiet loss that comes with giving up your own home. You trade the loneliness of silence for the loneliness of not belonging. Margaret missed simple things, choosing what music to play, cooking at midnight, talking to herself without someone hearing. Even her morning walks had stopped. Her daughter insisted it wasn't safe for her to go alone. Safety. That word again. It sounded comforting, but it started to feel like a cage. One evening, she was in her room, scrolling through old photos on her phone. Pictures of her apartment, the little reading chair by the window, the yellow lamp that flickered, the shelf of novels she loved. She realized she wasn't just missing a space, she was missing a life. And then came the moment that changed everything. Denise came home late one night, tired, frustrated. She walked past Margaret's room and muttered under her breath, "I just wish I could come home and relax without worrying if Mom's okay." The words weren't meant to hurt, but they did. Margaret sat in the dark for a long time after that. She understood now, her presence, though born of love, was becoming a weight. That night, she made a decision that would shift her story completely. She would take back her life. Not out of anger, not out of pride, but out of love, for her daughter, and for herself. Because love that traps you isn't love fully lived. So the next morning, she woke early, made tea quietly, and wrote a note on the kitchen counter. "Denise, thank you for opening your home. But it's time I open my own again." And with that, she began a new chapter. One that most people fear, but few ever realize can be beautiful. When she moved back to the city, she found a small one-bedroom apartment in a senior-friendly community. It wasn't big, it wasn't fancy, but it was hers. She unpacked her old books, put her chipped mug back on the counter, and placed her teapot where it always belonged, beside the window. The first night she spent there, she sat in silence, the good kind of silence, and smiled. For the first time in months, she felt something she hadn't felt in a long while, peace. Margaret learned something profound, that independence is not the absence of love. It's a form of it. And while family can be a beautiful safety net, living independently, even if it means living alone, can give seniors something that no shared house ever could: dignity, control, and purpose. She started joining community activities again. A book club on Tuesdays. Chair yoga on Thursdays. Sometimes, she helped other seniors who were afraid of living alone find the courage to build a new start. Margaret wasn't just surviving anymore. She was living again. And if you're watching this right now and you're standing at that same crossroads, wondering if moving in with family is the safest choice, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is it safe to give up your space? Is it comfortable to lose your independence? Or are you mistaking comfort for control? Because the truth is, sometimes the safest choice is the one that lets you stay true to yourself. And here's the secret. Families love you deeply, but they also need to see you thrive, not fade. And when you take charge of your own life again, when you say, "I can handle this," you don't just inspire yourself, you inspire them. Margaret's daughter, Denise, eventually understood that. She visited one weekend and saw her mother glowing, laughing, hosting friends, cooking her favorite meal. That day, Denise hugged her and whispered, "Mom, I get it now. You're happier this way." Margaret smiled and said, "Yes, sweetheart. I'm home." Because home isn't always where your family is. Sometimes, it's where your soul feels free. So before you pack your things, before you give up your key, think twice. You're not too old to start over. You're not too fragile to live on your own terms. And you're not too late to rewrite your story. If this story touched you, don't leave without sharing it. Someone you love might need to hear this today. Subscribe to Reset for Seniors, where every story reminds you that growing older isn't about slowing down. It's about rediscovering your power, your peace, and your purpose. Click subscribe and turn on the bell now, because the next video might just be the one that changes how you see aging forever. Margaret's story didn't end there. A few months after moving back into her apartment, she began to document her daily life. Little moments of joy that she never noticed before. Morning coffee by the window. Her plants growing new leaves. The quiet comfort of choosing what to do each day without asking anyone's permission. She started to realize that peace isn't found in other people's routines. It's found in reclaiming your own. She began volunteering at a nearby senior center, helping other older adults navigate technology, reconnect with friends, and even start new hobbies. Many of them had similar stories. They had moved in with their children or grandchildren, hoping for comfort, but found themselves quietly erased. Margaret didn't judge them. She understood them, and she would tell them the same thing she once told herself. You're not a burden. You're just a person who forgot she's still capable of standing on her own. Her words began to ripple through that community like sunlight through a window. One afternoon, she hosted a small tea gathering in her apartment. 6 seniors came, each with their own story. One woman, Clara, had moved in with her son and said she felt like furniture. Another, Harold, said he sold his home to make life easier for his daughter, only to discover that he had nowhere that truly felt like his. Margaret listened quietly and then said, "Sometimes the hardest part isn't being alone. It's remembering that your life is still yours." They sat in silence for a moment, then began to laugh, a real, deep laugh that filled the room with warmth. That night, Margaret wrote in her journal, "Maybe this is my second act, helping others remember their first." The more she shared her story, the more she realized how many seniors silently carry that same confusion, thinking that moving in with family means safety, when in reality, it sometimes means surrender. But here's what few people talk about: the small freedoms you lose slowly. The chair you used to sit in. The meals you used to cook your way. The shows you used to watch in peace. The time you once spent with your own thoughts. It's not the noise that hurts, it's the loss of your rhythm. And here's where the FOMO comes in. Because while some seniors sit waiting for permission to live again, others are quietly taking their first steps back toward independence, joining new communities, forming friendships, even finding late-life love. You don't hear their stories on the news, but they're happening everywhere. They're proving that aging doesn't mean disappearing, it means transforming. Margaret joined a walking group one Saturday morning. When she showed up, she was nervous, a 68-year-old woman surrounded by strangers. But within minutes, someone cracked a joke, someone else offered her a water bottle, and soon she was laughing again. For the first time in years, she didn't feel like someone's mother or grandmother. She just felt like herself. Weeks turned into months. Her daughter Denise visited often, not out of obligation, but because she wanted to. Their relationship grew softer, healthier. They could laugh again without the undercurrent of guilt or resentment. One evening, as the sun set over the city skyline, Margaret told Denise, "I used to think living alone meant I'd be forgotten. But now I see, it's how I found myself again." Denise smiled and said, "Mom, you've taught me more about courage than anyone I know." Margaret knew then that she had made the right choice. And so, if you're watching this video and wondering if moving in with family will make everything easier, pause for just a second. Ask yourself, is it love that's calling you to move in? Or is it fear? Because sometimes love means trusting your family enough to live independently. And fear means doubting that you can. Don't let fear make your decisions for you. Every year, thousands of seniors give up their independence thinking it's the only way to stay connected, only to lose a part of themselves in the process. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can stay close, stay loved, and still live free. Your family will respect you even more when they see that you're strong, vibrant, and determined to live your own story. And if you think it's too late to start over, listen carefully. Margaret started again at 68. She didn't wait for perfect timing. She just decided that her life still mattered. You can too. So if this message reaches you at the right time, maybe it's a sign. A sign that you don't have to trade your joy for convenience. A sign that your best years aren't behind you. They're waiting for you to believe again. And maybe today, right now, you can take one small step back toward yourself. Call a friend. Visit your old neighborhood. Go for a walk alone. Do something that reminds you that you are still you. Because the truth is, when you hold on to your independence, you hold on to your identity. And there's nothing riskier than losing that. If this story touched your heart, take a second before scrolling away. Click like, it tells YouTube that this message matters. Share it with a friend or parent who might need to hear it today. Subscribe to Reset for Seniors and join a community where aging is not the end. It's the start of a wiser, freer life. Every week, we bring you real stories, honest conversations, and hope, because you deserve to live the rest of your years your way. So, go ahead, click subscribe now. Don't wait until next time, because the next story we share might just be the one that helps you start your next chapter. Because love should give you wings, not walls. And fear is what tells you to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You don't have to disappear to stay close. You don't have to give up your peace to prove you care. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is say, I can take care of myself. Here's something most people don't tell you. Thousands of seniors move in with their families every year, and many of them end up feeling smaller, quieter, and lonelier than ever before. Not because their families don't love them, but because independence isn't something you can share. It's something you own. And once you give it away, it's hard to get back. So before you make that move, think about what you're truly giving up. The ability to choose what you eat, when you sleep, what you watch, the little rituals that make life feel like yours. They might sound small, but those small things are what hold your soul together. Here's the irony. Many seniors move in with family to feel safe. But the real danger lies in losing your sense of self. When you stop making decisions for your life, you slowly forget that you still have power. That's the quiet risk, the one nobody warns you about. So, if you've been thinking, maybe it's time to move in with them. Pause. Ask yourself, what if I just needed to build a safer, freer life for myself instead? Because every day you wake up on your own terms, you prove to yourself that you're still capable, still strong, and still in control. Margaret didn't just move out. She moved forward. She took control of her health, joined a walking group, even started volunteering at a senior tech class, teaching others how to use their phones and video call their grandkids. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was thriving. And if she can do that at 68, so can you. If Margaret's story touched your heart, take a second before scrolling away. Someone you know might need this reminder today. Tap like to tell YouTube that this message matters. Share it with a friend, a parent, or someone who's facing the same decision. Subscribe to Reset for Seniors, where stories like this remind you that growing older isn't about slowing down. It's about waking up to who you truly are. Your next chapter starts with one brave choice. Don't wait for permission to live it. Because the riskiest thing you can do is let someone else decide what your life should look like. Click subscribe, and let's start resetting together.